Everybody, welcome back to the Armed Scotsman. Today on the table we have a Psa Jakl. Let's get this review started. Hey everybody, as I said, this is a Psa Jakl. I have reviewed the pistol version of Jakl. This is the rifle length. I thought it was a good time to get it in with all of the nonsense going on with other stuff. So I thought I'd get one of these in for you, take a look at it. So yeah, let's dive right on in. Now, let's start at the back. We like to do things a little differently here, so we'll go from butt to tip. So at the back, we're going to start off with a skeleton stock. It's pretty cool. Nice butt pad in the back here. It's got some cutie sling attachments. There's no original sling attachments on the back here, just so you're aware. Obviously it's skeletonized. There is two holes in the top here where you can buy, I believe, a cheek riser you can put on here, because I'm not gonna lie, this is not the most comfortable. I mean, ergonomically it looks, as I say, I think it looks pretty cool, but definitely not the most comfortable. It is a long stroke piston system in here, so there's no buffer tube or anything like that. It's all self-contained in the upper receiver. That way they can put on a folding stock like so, which is really cool. So you can switch this out if you don't like the skeleton stock. They do have other options. They just, as I just purchased this one, like the next day, I think, I swear it was like they came out with kind of an ACR stock, which I think looks really cool, which might be, I think, the better stock out of all the ones that I saw, because there's another version, a different stock as well, but I think the new one that came out that looks like the ACR stock is probably my favorite. Looking, at least anyway, I think functionality would be the best. But either way, the skeleton stock is still very cool. You can fold it over, you can still access all of your controls. You don't have to worry about that, and this makes it a little easier for traveling, storage or whatever, so it makes that just a little bit easier. Now, it's connected on a 1913 pick rail. It does have one torque wrench screw right here, so you just take that off. You can take this off and put a different stock on if you wish. So there's definitely versatility there, and you have a cutie sling attachment, another one on the back right here. Now, moving along, if I don't catch my mic wire, moving along to the upper and lower receiver. Let's just go down to the lower receiver first. It's a standard, it should take any standard mil-spec lower receiver. Then that's what we have here. So you have your standard mag release. It doesn't have an ambi safety, and I think for the price point, I would really personally like to see an ambi safety on here. I'm just a big fan of them anyway. Some people might not like them, but I do. Easy fix though if you want. You have a Magpul MOE grip right here. It's all polymer, little serrations around the side, pretty comfortable. A little storage compartment in the bottom. So I like to store batteries and things like that in these. It does have an enhanced trigger guard right here, which again is really nice. It's a Magpul enhanced trigger guard, and it does have a EPT trigger, an enhanced polish trigger. So it's definitely a step up from a regular mil-spec trigger. Let's have a look here. It's literally at the wall. There's like literally no take up. Nice clean audible brake, and then the reset, positive and tactile. So it's not a world beater trigger, but it's definitely a very nice step up from a mil-spec. Okay, all right. So moving on to the other side, you can see here we do have the standard bolt catch and release and your standard safety. The gun's not racked, so I can't put the safety on. But you do have your standard safety, and state dependent, it comes with a standard capacity magazine. Now, let's move on up to the top. This is, people are going to ask, this is a Vortex PST Gen 2 optic. I think for the money, you can buy them for like under $500. I think these are probably the best scope for the money, especially under that price point. They're very good scopes. Check them out if you're in the market for a more budget-friendly one. Everything's expensive though, right? It does have a 1913 pick rail all the way along the top here. There is no brake, as you can probably see. That's because this is a monolithic upper, meaning this upper is all one piece. It's machined from one piece of aluminum, so it's all one piece, which is pretty freaking cool. You know, again, if you have a break with an AR-15, typical with your handguard right here, you know, you've got to be careful where you put your mount so you don't bridge that gap. You don't have to worry about that with a monolithic upper. There's no chance of it rotating and throwing your iron sights off, or if you have maybe a D-ball, I don't know, whatever you have up here, it will not throw any of that off because it's all one piece. The bottom piece right here is not attached to this upper receiver. Well, it is, but it's not all one piece, if that makes sense. So we have a couple of screws right here. There's one here, one here, one here, and one here. Take them out, you can slide this off. So you can take this handguard off if you wish. Now it has M-lock slots, the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock position, so tons of room to add whatever you would like. You do have some nice kind of cutouts as well on the top right here, and there's a few in between the 3 and 6 o'clock position. You got some more cutouts right there, so very cool. It is a side charging handle, which is pretty nifty. So it's pretty sweet. It is ambidextrous. You can take this out and put it to the other side. So if you want to run it almost like an AK, or maybe you're a left-handed shooter, whatever it may be, whatever your preference is, you can have it on that side. So I do like the versatility of that. Also, it's very cool. Now before we get up a little further, I forgot to do the wiggle test. This is where I like to see if there's any play between the upper and lower receiver. It doesn't affect the gun in any kind of way. It's just something I like to see if there's any play. There's just a little bit in there, nothing much at all. It's not too bad. Okay, now moving under this handguard is a long stroke piston system, which I kind of mentioned before at the start. Now, there's a couple of the reasons why piston system, I mean, there's pros and cons to piston system, just like everything else, right? One of the cons is because you have a piston system, it's going to make it a little heavier at the front. This gun it's a smidge top heavy. Now, because I have this optic on here, I feel like it's balanced it out pretty well, but without this optic, I feel like you can definitely feel it's a little top heavy because we do have a skeletonized stock back here, so it's not balancing quite right. I mean, it's nothing major. I'm just pointing out stuff that just to be aware of. So it is just a little front heavy, but again, not a massive deal by any means. You do have a adjustable gas block on the pistol version. There's 4 settings. On the rifle version, there is 8 settings. So when you get this gun, if you buy one, if you decide to get one, you go to the range and you do what I did, right? You rack it, you go fire, and it doesn't, and it's like it goes bang, no rep, and it's like it doesn't. When I go to fire again, it's just like it's not going. I'm like, what the heck? You might have to play. Just remember to check the gas settings, because it might be on a suppressed gas setting instead of a kind of a normal, which will stop your gun from functioning properly. So beware of that. I did it and I was like, why is this not working? I was like, oh yeah, adjustable gas block, stupid. So don't be like me. So yeah, just remember that. And then if you do suppress it, bear in mind you will have to tune it to the ammo and the suppressor you're using, so you'll have to adjust this a little bit. It's very simple to do. As I say, you can just go through your settings, and also bear in mind if you're shooting a lot, this will get hot, so be careful you don't burn yourself if you're playing with the adjustment settings. So find that setting that works for you, if suppressed or unsuppressed or whatever. But remember, if you're shooting unsuppressed and then go suppressed, you'll need to change the setting. If you don't, you're going to have a problem. Under here we have a 13.7, I believe, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure it's 13.7 barrel under here, and it's a 4150, and it has a pinned and welded flash hider. Now the pin and welded part is important because this is a 13.7 inch barrel. This has to be pinned and welded to make this a non-NFA item, because when it's pinned and welded, it's a part of your barrel, and then therefore makes this the full 16 inches, making this a rifle. So that is important to know. So it comes with the chemo adapter. There's a lot of suppressors out there that do use that. Nowadays, Dead Air is who I use, and attaches great. I did run this suppressed. I'm not going to show you footage of this running the suppressed because it will get demonetized. I do have a short out there somewhere on my channel if you do want to see that, but unfortunately I won't be rolling it into this video. Okay, I think I've kind of gone over everything on the outside. Kind of the overall thoughts before we just take this down and have a look in the inside quickly is the overall quality and construction. It feels very, very good. I really like these Jakl lineups, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, let's dive on in the inside. And as I said, this is a basic standard AR-15 lower. So you're just going to pop the back pin, pull that out, lift this up. So to take out the internals here, you're just going to push forward and down a little bit. Push forward and down. There's your guide rod and spring. It looks very similar to an AK, right? And then pull back on your charging handle, and that will pull out this system right here. Very reminiscent of an AK, right? This is a kind of a hybrid system, very reminiscent of an AK. And then we have an AR bolt actually right here. And it's got some heft to it, and that's what I was saying. It does make it a little front heavy. Now, as I said before, with the charging handle, you can, once you pull it to the back like so, you would just pull it out, put it onto the other side, make sure everything is lined up. There's what's called a sled in here, and you just want to make sure that everything's lined up. Put this back on the other side so everything's nice and even, and push it forward. It's very simple to do, to change that over. And that's the inside. This is your lower. As you can see, it looks, obviously it's a little, even though this will take a standard AR-15 lower, you can see here they've got some different cosmetics on here to make it a little prettier once that's closed. So, but you can switch it out to any AR-15 lower that you want. All right, so we are back together. So shooting it, I had no problems other than figuring out my suppressor settings are off. Just to get it running. Once I had it the correct setting, it ran like a freaking champ. Very little to no recoil, very nice indeed. One of the other benefits I was going to say of running a piston system is when you're running suppressed, it should help mitigate all those gases. Like in a typical direct impingement AR-15, this gases will come back here and it gets in your face, chokes you up pretty good. The piston system should run a lot cleaner and hopefully stop a lot of those gases coming back into your face. So yeah, overall, I really, really like this Jakl line. I think aesthetically, I think they look phenomenal, especially with, again, that other stock, the ACR stock. I still like the skeleton stock, but I like the other stock better, I think. I think aesthetically, they look great. They ran like a champ. They've got a ton of cool features. I really, really like this Jakl line, and I can tell you one thing for 100%, if they come out in a 308, I'm going to be all over that, because I'd love to get one of these in a 308. Personally, I think that would absolutely rock. But anyway, all right, that is it for me. If you have any questions, any comments, please ask below. I'm always happy to help out where I can. And that's it. Until next time, I'll catch you later.